Good morning to everyone and welcome to Unity of Charlotte, where our mission is to nurture a deep and mature experience of God through the practice of unity principles. Simply put, we are here to love, serve, and grow. I am Lawrence Tolliver, a member of the Board of Trustees. I am so glad that you chose to join us here today in person, by Zoom, or on YouTube. So let's start today's service by sharing our statement of oneness, and let that lead into our opening prayer. Our statement of oneness. Together, there is one presence and one power in my life and universe, God the good, omnipotent. Please join me in this prayer. Father, Mother God, we know that you express as everything in the totality of creation. For you are saturating every atom. Within you, we find our lives, all of us, saturated with your goodness, with your peace, with your love, and with your power. May 2022 find us experiencing your love. May 2022 find us serving you with all of our hearts and our minds. May 2022 find us growing as spiritual beings, expanding, understanding more, knowing more goodness, and activating our faith. We thank you for this opportunity on this first Sunday of 2022. We release these thoughts and ideas to you, knowing that they manifest as you in all of our lives. We are so grateful, and so it is. Amen. Well, church, I decided I wanted to read something to you from the Daily Word. And this is from the last day of 2021, Daily Word. Pausing to reflect on the past year, I may recall times of triumph and of struggle, joy and sorrow, peace and turmoil. Even if it was not evident at the time, I can now see divine order unfolding in these events. Even during the more difficult moments, I can find a blessing in how circumstances actually played out. I know too that on the cusp of a new year, divine order continues, as always, to be the undergirding spiritual law and reality of my life. I affirm the orderly manifestation of good in all things, especially when that good is not yet apparent. I begin the year anew with this intention, affirming that all is in divine order. I am ready to move ahead, giving thanks for the past and expecting abundant good in the new year. In 2 Peter, 1st chapter, 3rd verse, we find these divine words. His divine power has given us everything needed for life and godliness through the knowledge of him who called us by his own glory and his own goodness. What wonderful sacred words. Well, I'm going to tell you what I am delighted to be able to do because of who she is. Reverend Robin is an outstanding unity minister, and she often provides us with lessons for which we are all grateful. We write notes, we give ourselves mental reminders because she is such an outstanding teacher. And she actually began her service to Unity as a licensed Unity teacher. They go through strenuous training. And I am so glad that her training as a teacher comes through as she delivers the word of life to each of us. She is just an outstanding pioneer. She has pioneered a church before, and she ministered at that church in Blairsville, Georgia, and also ministered in Gainesville, Georgia. So she is actually not with us. She is on Zoom, but really, if you just pay attention, open your hearts and minds, you will feel like she is right in the room with you. So, Reverend Robin, let's give her a resounding clap, applause, and praise. Thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence. I should hire you as my PR person.
You have my permission.
Good morning. Happy New Year, Unity of Charlotte. It's great to be with you again today. This is a day of ceremony and ritual, one of my favorite services of the year. And thank you for the opportunity to bring it right into your homes and right into your sanctuary there in Charlotte. So to begin, you will need 2 pieces of paper. Those in the sanctuary, these have been provided for you. You'll need a piece of paper for your releasing and a piece of paper for your letters to God, your letter to God. And you will need an envelope and something to write with. So if you do not have those, go and get those right away. And if you are at home and actually planning to use fire for your burning bowl, you can just use a small piece of paper. You don't have to use a big one because we're not going to write an epistle about what we are releasing. And I will get to all of that in just a moment. I'll give you exact, explicit instructions. So here we are. We have closed the chapter on 2021, and we are opening to a brand new year, a brand new you in 2022. Now, after going through 2 years of pandemic, we are so ready to take a new and bold step into the future, right? And I'm sure that there are things that we want to leave behind in 2021. The reading that Lawrence gave us talked about both the thorns and the roses. So we are going to be celebrating all of that. One of the reasons that we do ceremony and ritual is to help us to overcome our feeling of separateness. In this journey, in this human journey, we think that we are separate from God that created us. Now, if we've been on this spiritual path for a while, we've come to understand that that is an illusion. and that we're really not separate. But as long as we're experiencing this human experience, it sure feels real, doesn't it? The pain in our body, the pain in our relationships, the lack in our bank accounts, all of these things, the lack of fulfillment in our work can cause us to certainly feel separate from our source. So we spend our lives either consciously or unconsciously seeking that at-one-ment feeling. You may read that as atonement, which is traditionally taught as the Easter experience of salvation. But if you separate the word into at-one-ment, it is bringing us back into unity with our Creator. So we seek to collapse that sense of separation, to be joined with God and with each other and with our own selves, to understand ourselves deeper and with more awareness and more consciousness than ever before. So we go on this adventure of ritual, and it helps us to hold our families together, to bring our spiritual communities together. And it helps us to find like thinkers, which helps us feel better, right? To validate who we are in this journey that we're on. So we're going to embrace this morning. And in all of these challenges that we have in life, we all have challenges. And probably every one of us had some form of challenge in 2021. It may have shown up differently for each one of us, but we probably all had some sense of challenge. And what happens oftentimes when we experience challenge is we turn that into us and we say, why me? Why did this happen to me? What did I do to deserve this? What do I do now? And why did this happen now? And we start asking these kinds of questions that oftentimes are very futile. They don't lead us to any productive answers. So it has been for our convenience that we measure time and we separate what was from what we expect to be. And for most of us, it's a great challenge to live in this present moment. We tend to be focusing backwards about what has happened, analyzing it, trying to digest it, trying to break it down, playing the what ifs. What if I had done this differently? What if I had said this instead of that? Or what if he had done this instead of that? And oh, mercy. You know, we wear ourselves out with this past analysis. And when we're not doing the past analysis, we're over here. We're trying to plan the future, and we're trying to outline it and lay it all out. And in our prayer time, we are telling God, okay, this is how it's going to be, and this is how I want you to bring it about. So we're going to try to get away from both of those strangling activities, that those physical responses and reactions to what is happening in our lives, and try to look at things from a deeper, more spiritual perspective. So when we talk about the burning bowl, it is not a memorial to the past. And actually, I have had congregants and clients in the past who have said to me, I don't want to participate in that because I don't want to think about what didn't work. If I think about what didn't work, then I'm going to put energy into it and make it happen all over again. But that's not true with a release. This is not a memorial to the past, and we are not adding energy to outcomes that were not productive for you. This is a definite time of denial and affirmation in consciousness. This is a definite time of denial and affirmation in consciousness. So we're going to deny the effects of whatever happened in the past, and we're going to affirm the highest and best we can conceive for ourselves for the future. We want to give ourselves permission to think differently this morning. If you have followed me for the last 15 months or so that I've been joining your group, you will have heard me say, we must be the thinker of our thoughts. That is a high level activity of consciousness. So we must be the thinker of our thoughts and not allow our thoughts to think us. And we are going to practice that today. Paul said in 2 Corinthians, now is the accepted time, now is the day of salvation. You can translate that to say, now is the accepted time, now is the day of release or of freedom, or whatever the word salvation might mean to you. It means this now moment is the most important reality for you. This now moment. And every time that you can practice being in a now moment, then you grow in consciousness, because the now moment is the only moment that exists in God. The past does not exist in God. The future does not exist in God. This now moment, this breath that we breathe together is the only moment in which we can experience God. Now, in the past, at the beginning of a new year, you may have tried positive thinking and positive prayer and positive affirmations, and then you still look back at the past year and you felt defeated. You felt like something was just dragging you down and pulling you by a weight. Your problems, your concerns for where you are today may be something new that has just come into your awareness, or it may be some old familiar ache that's deep in your mind or deep in your heart. Today, you could be dealing with a physical challenge like a disease or cancer or arthritis. Or it might be something that you have allowed to take dominion over you, such as alcohol or tobacco, food, or drugs, unhealthy relationships, codependency. It might be a lack of consciousness, and therefore it seems like there's never enough money at the end of the month. And any of these problems can become chronic when they happen to us over and over again. Today, it's about making a decision to live differently, to respond differently. And it all begins with a decision. This opportunity is an opportunity for healing. And when you heal one aspect of your life, everything in your life gets a dose of healing. You know, the healing energy of the universe doesn't single out one part of you. Okay, so we're going to heal you physically, but we're going to leave you financially broke. It doesn't do that. When you allow healing energy to come into your life, it comes into all the aspects of your life. Isn't that a beautiful thought? So today we're going to make an incision in our minds, and we're going to literally, figuratively, not literally, but figuratively cut out any reoccurring thoughts or energy that is no longer serving you. When we have feelings of lack and thoughts of fear and worries about the future, any of these erroneous attitudes, they creep in and they steal our lives from us. They steal our joy from us. So today we're going to take back our power. We want to learn to live in a world that we respond to, not react to. We want to know who we are and be confident in that, so that we are living free from drama and chaos. And we often forget that we have a divine inheritance and a perfection of spirit. We forget that because in this sense of separation, we're thinking that we have to do it on our own and that this is all I've got. And if Robin can't figure it out for Robin, then, it just is what it is. And if you can't figure it out for you, it just is what it is. But we do have a divine inheritance, and we are perfect in spirit. So today, first, we're going to release and let go of our limited thinking and those weights around our ankles that have held us back. We're going to deny the effects of anything from the past year that we do not want to take forward with us. So I invite you to take your piece of paper. If you are in the sanctuary, it will say, this will I release from 2021. And this handout was in the email from Unity of Charlotte, but yours doesn't have to say this. So just grab a blank piece of paper or a little piece of paper. Again, you're not going to write a lot about what you are releasing. We're going to center our minds in just a moment. And we're going to allow whatever you feel complete with, whatever you're willing to release, just write a word or two or a sentence on that piece of paper. And then for those of you in the sanctuary, you are going to walk up and shred it and we're going to give everybody time to meditate and think about it and write it down. And then you will one by one walk up and shred it in the sanctuary. If you are at home, you can have a small piece of paper that you burn with a candle. If you have a fireplace, you can throw it in the fireplace. If you don't have those, just take your tiny piece of paper and shred it in little bitty bits and flush it down the toilet. Or if you have a shredder at home, you can shred yours as well. Whatever you do, don't hang on to it. And here's the biggie catch. Once you write what you are releasing on your piece of paper, from that moment forward, You are the thinker of your thoughts. Do not allow your mind to go back to that place. No more wondering, what if? Or why did that happen? Or why me? Or any of those questions that keep us stuck in that lower vibration of earthly separation. So only write on your piece of paper what you're willing to take your hands off of, what you're willing to take your mind off of. All right, are we ready? So let's turn within. We're feeling better already. Find your center within. Follow the breath. The psalmist wrote, "Create in me a clean heart, O God. Renew a right spirit within me." Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Turn your focus into that place. What do you feel complete with from 2021? It may be from something physical that you want to release that physical challenge power over controlling your life and your destiny. It may be that you're willing to release a limited thought about abundance in your life. It might be that you desire to release an unhealthy relationship. And that could be even if that person is no longer on the planet. Maybe you need to release a certain job that you have, a job you're paid for, or a job you volunteer for. Perhaps you need to release some old embedded theology in your spiritual life that has kept you stuck in guilt and shame thinking. I am free of the past and the mistakes of the past and the results of the past. I am free of the past and the mistakes of the past and the results of the past. I know the truth, and the truth makes me free. As music gently plays, we're going to take just a minute or two for you to grab hold of what you are willing to let go of and write it on your piece of paper. And then just hold it in prayerful consciousness. In a minute or two, we will release it into the shredder. As the music plays. Alan, we're not hearing anything. You may be muted. So if you are ready, go ahead and one at a time walk to the shredder in the front of the sanctuary and release what you have written. Allow yourself to feel renewed and released from any hold that anything from the past has had on you. Know that you are giving away whatever you have written to the power of spirit, to a power greater than who you are. You are purging this situation, and it will be restored and renewed in ways you cannot imagine when you release it from your mind and your control. Know that all that you are releasing is no longer a part of your life. Affirm that as you let go. This situation is no longer a part of my life. It no longer has control over me. The forgiving love of God now makes me free. Okay, so we have completed the denial portion of our ceremony today. And it is time now to affirm that which we desire to bring forth in 2022. Let me start with a quick story. There was an American who was visiting a small English town, and while there, he lost a very valuable dog. He went to the local newspaper to put in an advertisement about the lost dog, and he offered £100 for its return. The newspaper was to come out that afternoon, and later in the day, the man went to look for the newspaper, and he went to all the prominent vending spots, but to his dismay, there was no paper to be had. So he went directly to the newspaper office, and there the door was locked and a sign was on the door, and it read, "There will be no evening edition of the paper today. We are all out looking for a lost dog." What this story tells us is to seize the opportunity that is before us. 2022 is a brand new baby year. Brand new baby year, only 2 days old. It's a brand new opportunity for each of us. It's a time for us to forget the shoulds of life and to go after our deepest desires that spring up in our hearts. We often hesitate to go after our dreams because we may think that we have to do it alone. It's that sense of separation again. You know, if Robin can't do it all by herself, it can't be done. But we've already laid the groundwork, and we've disproved that idea. So we know and affirm as we step forward into 2022 that God is always with us, that God is moving in and through us in our very breath. And as we pursue our deepest desires, it is the God force within us that is guiding us every step of the way. When we set new intentions and we launch forward toward anything that is unknown, we may forget that we're connected to God mind, but let us remember, not only are you connected to God mind, but everyone else is connected to God mind as well. And when we do this ceremony together, we bolster the energy of our desires upward in consciousness, not only for ourselves, but for each and every one of us. To initiate a dream, to set an intention, is a powerful exercise in consciousness. It has been said that maturity in dreaming is the ability to stick with a dream until it's finished, the ability to carry out a dream without being supervised, the ability to care for a dream without wasting it, and the ability to bear disappointment without giving up. And we affirm for ourselves and for each other that in 2022, the year in which you can be made new, that this is a new opportunity for you to dream those dreams. You know, the word January comes from the old Greek word for God, the old Greek god Janus. And Janus had two faces on the same head. One face looked to the past and one face looked to the future. And it is difficult for us oftentimes in our own lives to not be like Janus and looking with both heads at the same time. So we want to focus forward, focus singularly forward, and not try to drive in our rearview mirror. We truly believe that God is with us in all things, right? So God is with us in this new year as it is going to unfold for us every day, one day at a time. There are 363 more days in this year. And what are we going to do with them? What are you going to do with them? Are you going to live every day the same as you did the day before, or are you going to allow the allness of God and the goodness of God to come forth in expansive thinking in your life and bring about new thoughts and new ideas? So for this part, one of my favorite pieces is writing your letter to God. So grab a piece of paper. Any piece of paper will do, doesn't matter what it looks like. And I'm going to guide you through some thoughts to help you isolate in, to hone in on some specific things that will be important to you in 2022. At the top of your page, I suggest you write one of my favorite phrases. I am so happy and grateful now that ... I am so happy and grateful now that ... And we begin there. So we're going to turn within and then write a sentence, turn within, write a sentence, turn within, write a sentence. We begin with gratitude. Sweet Spirit, precious entity of life. We feel the newness of this new year. I am so happy and grateful now that your love, your light, and your life is unfolding in and through me. Just feel that. Allow my words to be your words, or adapt them to fit you perfectly. Sweet Spirit, I am so happy and grateful now that your life, your light, your love is moving in and through me now. So think of your health, your physical being on this planet. What would you affirm and be happy and grateful for regarding your physical being in 2022? Hold that space for a few seconds and then open your eyes and write that on your piece of paper. The life of God is renewing us. Each cell of our body is responding and rejuvenating that life force in, through, and as us. What is your intention with your body in 2022? Returning to that quiet inner space. Think about the flow of abundance in your life. All the good things in your life come from the energy source of God within you. Feel that goodness and abundance within you, knowing that God is your one true source. What is your intention for the flow of abundance in your life in 2022? That might look like becoming debt-free, or all my physical needs are met with ease and grace, or my earnings for 2022 increase by 10% or 20%, or I have plenty to share and to spare. Whatever your abundance affirmation is, write that on your piece of paper now. And return to that inner space and think of your relationships. Think of the people that are the closest to you and the most important to you. And what do you affirm in your relationships? It can be for your intimate partner relationship. It can be for your children or your grandchildren, or for your friends, or for people that are in some kind of business relationship with you. With the light of God shining into those relationships, what do you affirm for your relationships in 2022? And think about your creative work. It could be a job that you are paid for, or it could be something that you do as a volunteer, or a hobby, or just something that brings you joy. Where is the creativity in your life? With the help of the energy of God within you that brings forth new ideas and new creation, what is your affirmation for the talents that are only yours in 2022? And finally, think of your spiritual life. For your spiritual experience, your spiritual life, what do you desire to awaken to a greater level of exuberance and consciousness in 2022? How do you desire to be spiritually transformed? That might look like a greater understanding of your oneness with God, or a deepened prayer time, or a more meaningful meditation experience, or regular walks in nature to remind you of your oneness with all that is. Whatever speaks to your heart. How will you elevate your spiritual life to a higher level? And bringing your awareness back to this time and space. Give yourself some beautiful closing to your letter. Thank you, God, with love, with confidence, with affirmation. Your creation, Robin, whatever. Just sign it in some way that makes you feel wonderful. And then you will address the envelope to yourself and put your letter in the envelope, seal it up. Those in the sanctuary of volunteer will collect the envelopes, and the church will mail them back to you next November. For those of you at home, you can send your envelope in another envelope to the church, and they will all be put in the same file, Letters to God, to be mailed in November. Or if you're like me, you can paper clip it to your paper calendar, which I still have a paper calendar. And so I just paper clip it to November. And then when I get to November, I open it up and I read the intentions that I set today. And I can then see my gratitude for how they have unfolded, or recognize where I need to do some work to get out of my own way. So today we've let go of what no longer serves us, and we have embraced and become excited and aware of those things that we desire to create. So we go forth today with gratitude in our hearts, grateful for this sacred time of ceremony and ritual that we have experienced together. So grateful to be a part of your life and your new year. God bless you. And so it is. Amen.
I dreamed a dream a long time ago about a land where the rivers run wild, where flowers grow wherever they choose, and the breezes blow gentle and mild, where the trees stand in silence yet singing their song in natural harmony, where the earth fully gives to nurture all life, and creation is boundless and free. I dreamed a dream a long time ago about people who know how to live. Their words and their deeds are simple and pure, and their love they most willingly give. Each day of their lives is a reverent prayer. Their joy fills each moment with light, and the peace from within is reflected without, like a day softly echoed by night. My dream slowly fades with the passing of time, yet my vision grows clearer each day. I know what a wonderful world this will be when we each learn the part that we play. Each one of us must find the truth for ourselves and live it the best that we can. So I'll sing my song just as you will sing yours. What a beautiful vision poor man.
Barbara, that was outstanding. We appreciate your contribution to this wonderful service. At this time, we're going to close out the service for January the 2nd, the second day of a brand new year and a brand new you. So we're first going to do our prayer of protection together. Please join me. You may stand if you would like and remain standing. Okay. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well.